And you are watching another short edition of Blewett's Blitz. Today, looking at 2024 Cade Klubnik, also going to come back with some 2025. I'm going to expedite a good amount of plays for you guys, get a good feel. Again, breeze through some plays, looking at 2024 Klubnik, in which he had 36 touchdowns, 6 picks, about 3,700 yards, about 400 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. So 2025 season obviously struggled a little bit more. About 100 less attempts. Completion percentage did go up by 2 points. He threw for 3,000 yards, or a little bit under 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 picks in 24, but also 6 picks in 25. Much less rushing yards, where in this past season he had 94. We'll take a look at some of the plays. We're not shotgun review with a lot of plays, but go through them very, very quickly with Klubnik. I didn't see all that different of a player. I saw maybe a little bit worse of a player, but in a worse situation. I didn't watch him in 24 and 25 like, oh, this is a completely different guy. I just think he's not necessarily the type of quarterback to overcome a bad situation. And in 2025, it was a bad situation. Let's take a look. All right. Starting off with a good chunk of good plays from Klubnik. This is a dot on this play. I believe the first game I watched of Klubnik, and does a really good job. He wants this matchup on the bottom, reads it initially, looks off the safety, just peeking to the right, just to hold the safety to the middle of the field, then gets back to the bottom here and throws, again, a very, very good ball to that receiver, where you legitimately cannot walk this into a better spot. One of the things that's a little bit frustrating with Klubnik is just the inconsistency with his accuracy, just a general accuracy, but specifically deep balls.
You couldn't hit the side of a barn.
There's plays like this where he throws just a beautiful ball, and then there are plays where he underthrows the ball by 10 or 15 yards. So initially, play action, looks at the matchup on the bottom, wants it. If he's even, he's leaving on the corner route. He then peeks a little bit to the right just to hold the safety, right? Because if he stares at this at the bottom the entire time, safety's going to drift over top of it. Route is no longer in play. So we'll look at it from the other angle as well. But holds that safety, puts the ball, again, absolutely on the money, and we'll freeze frame it a little bit. Okay, play action, reads it, peeks to the right, drifts a little bit away from some pressure from his left side, gets back to the left where he wants to throw that ball. And in terms of the throw and the location here, come on. Like, this is a absolutely perfect throw. Quite literally could not be any better from Klubnik. Excellent play, identifying that he wants it, looking off or holding the safety, throwing the ball with a little bit of pressure into the absolutely perfect spot. All right, so this is labeled Klubnik good deep ball dropped. It's not really dropped, as the receiver's just not able to get his inside arm free and he's not able to catch the ball, but it's a really good play by Klubnik, just in terms of, like, pre-snap, he's seeing man coverage, right? We got man, safety. If this safety sits inside a little bit, he's gonna want the vertical from the outside slot right there. And he does a good job of putting the ball in a good spot. Again, he reads that the safety is sitting, again, likes the matchup right there. And again, well, this one's actually is dropped. No, there's another example of him not getting the arm free. It's a little bit hard to see because of how grainy it is, but the ball is right in his hands right here, outside shoulder, leading him completely away from the DB, right? If the DB is inside and underneath, put the ball outside and vertical, does it, receiver drops the ball. Okay, just showing off some of the athleticism here. This is a quick one where you got bash quarterback GT counter. Could be like pre-snap where he doesn't want to hand this ball off to the jet sweep because of how wide this defender is, or just based on matchup, whatever it is. But the bash part of it is reading for him the left side of the field here. And then obviously the quarterback GT counter is the quarterback keeper to GT counter, which is the guard kicking out and the tackle lead blocking for Klubnik. So jet sweep, pulls the ball, good kick out, follow 71, the race is on, and you're going to see some of the speed he has in the open field. And again, obviously he's not breaking tackles. He's not looking like Lamar Jackson here or anything like this.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
This is something you can do with Klubnik. Now, let's acknowledge, okay, the guy is 207 pounds, hopefully balloons up to 215, 220 of muscle, and you can run a little bit more with him. But at his weight, you don't want to do this a ton with Klubnik, but it's definitely in the bag of options because he does have some good, specifically like vertical speed. I don't think he's the most shifty guy in the world, but in terms of like acceleration and just speed in general, he can do things like this for your offense. All right, Klubnik here with a sail flood concept to the top. They rotate into what looks like a 3 buzz. And he puts a really good ball on the corner route here with some pressure in his face. So fakes the toss, right? Typically with these type of concepts, you're going to read deep to intermediate to short. Obviously, he's reading deep, right? DB over the top, DB inside in the post route, not going to work. So this is going to be the main conflict for Klubnik. Does he gain depth? Does he not? Does he bite down quickly on that route? He's reading all these things while having pressure in his face. Have to put enough heat on this ball again, just in case he drops down, but with enough touch over this defender. Again, pressure in his face. The ball is just over that defender, but before the outside third corner can work back to the ball. So a very, very good play from him. Again, reading the safety, pressure in his face because of, blown protection, whatever. I didn't watch. Or just a guy getting beat straight up, shuffles to buy himself some time. And again, look at the location of where this ball is. So he has all the physical capability to be a NFL quarterback. It's obviously more the processing stuff, the accuracy stuff, but that was hell of a play from Klubnik. All right, just showing off some of the athleticism. Actually escaping our number 2 overall pick in David Bailey. This is Stanford David Bailey. Again, this is 2024. He's number 23 here. No drip.
Is David Bailey going to wear drip? No.
Outruns him a little bit. Bailey dives at the legs, but Klubnik's able to maintain his balance and outrun him. Okay, so play action, don't really care about the concept. Reading the middle of the field, feels that pressure, doesn't see any of his reads open that he wants to hit, gets outside of the pocket, keeps the eyes down the field, but realizes, hey, nothing open I want to throw. Take off vertically. Bailey dives to the legs, maintains the balance, and the race is on. Points out who to block for number 1 right there, who pancakes that guy. But again, just showing off some of the ability of Klubnik, where he's not a statue or anything like that. I think he's more athletic than some of the guys that, we were talking about for the mid rounds for the Jets, the Nussmeyers of the world, the Becks of the world. I do think he has a higher ceiling than some of those players. All right, we have 4th and 4, a have-to-have-it situation for the Clemson Tigers here, in a situation where Klubnik can feel some pressure that's not there. This time he leaves the pocket and kind of eliminates a read for himself. So let's watch it here. Mainly focus on this receiver in the outside slot, who has that skinny post, that seam open, but Klubnik he leaves that pocket pretty early and eliminates that throw for himself, ends up having to throw that ball away, right? And again, you're dropping back here, and whether it be, again, read or clear out 1 to 2, you have this player working into the seam right here. And I get that this defender is there, but you want to read that defender, right? And if he collapses down, then hopefully you could fit the ball over top of him, but with enough zip to fit it in before this defensive back can close. This defender squats. Now, I get the argument of maybe if he stays in the pocket or doesn't start to scramble out, he gains some depth. Obviously, we can't know that without having that happen. So I don't want to see him leave the pocket here, because let's say this were going to be the case. If he were to stand tall in the pocket, he doesn't gain depth. This is a throw you hit. This is a throw you'd like to see him hit at the collegiate level, at the NFL level. The problem is he leaves the pocket, and again, kind of eliminates that option for himself. Now, he could get that ball off there maybe, but obviously more of a difficult throw. And we'll see it from the other angle where, they're blitzing here, but he tends to, even when they're blitzing it, but they're not pressuring, he just automatically assumes that somebody's going to get there. Now, maybe that's like, hey, I don't trust my offensive line or whatever it may be, but this is, I believe, the first game of 2025. So you can't necessarily use that excuse yet, but situation where looks like he may be reading this again. We don't necessarily know on this play if it's just the 2 outside guys, but a situation where you kind of freeze frame it as he rolls out. If he weren't to roll out, he wouldn't just, he probably keeps pushing to the middle with a lot of green grass. Again, assuming this defender does not gain depth if he stays in the pocket. But situation where we can't know because he left the pocket pretty early, have to have it play, ends up throwing the ball away. All right, Klubnik touchdown. Let's putting some zip on this ball. He reads the smash variation to the bottom, like a knife concept. We're going to have the corner route right here, I believe, from the receiver line of scrimmage. And then you're going to have the slant or the end from the receiver off the line of scrimmage right here. Let's watch it, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But it's a very good job by Klubnik with the reads and obviously fitting the ball in there like he does. One of the positives of him is he does have some decent velocity. I don't think his arm is an A+ or anything like that. I think it's more of like a B-B, but it's still good enough to get it done at the NFL level. And he has a pretty quick release and ability to quickly plant and get rid of the ball. So when he's reading this, right, Looks like they're running like a non-traditional Tampa 2. Where he rotates deep half, looking like he's like that pull runner in the middle. So it's a 2 that almost plays like a 3 at times. But in terms of reading this, right, you're going to read a 1, the deepest, to the shorter route. And when you have this play from the safety where he's very heavy inside leverage, as long as this cloud corner, they curl the flat, the cloud corner doesn't carry and gain depth underneath of this route, then you can fit this ball in there. So he's seeing heavy inside leverage. He's seeing 25, kind of stay a little bit more shallow there. He has to, again, put enough zip on this ball to get it in before this defensive back can close, but with enough touch on it to get it over 25 or enough accuracy to get it past 25 right there. Identifies that, fires that ball in there, puts it on his face for a touchdown. It's a very good job. All right, Klubnik touchdown. This is one on the move. Play is broken down. We have like a pick right here. It's probably going to read post to the wheel right here. But really nothing open for Klubnik, right? Tight window, could potentially fit it in. Nothing here. So it starts to feel just, the time in the pocket. Okay, I have to make a little bit of a move here, and keeps the eyes down the field. And it's a pretty clean pocket, right? Like good job by the protection, or not even pretty clean, a very clean pocket. So good job by the protection, but good job by Klubnik to keep the eyes down the field. And what he identifies eventually is this matchup right here. Good job by the receiver to push vertical. And then when he gets his eyes to that matchup, he's seeing this defender underneath, but drifting towards Klubnik's left. Receiver has eyes back onto the ball, so he's going to throw away from where the defender is working, right? Leverage going inside and underneath, throw the ball back shoulder. Puts the ball back shoulder in a great spot. We're halfway through the review. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Helps out the algorithm, all that stuff. Just make sure to follow me on Twitter, JoeRB31. A ton of reviews coming. I did 20 draft reviews, pre-draft. Obviously, who cares about them now? Nobody's going to watch a review on Vega Ione at this point, or CJ Allen or anything like that. But I'll have the entire draft class done. I'll have all the free agents the Jets have done. I'll have plenty of rewinds back to 2025, looking at anywhere from like Will McDonald, Fashanu, Membu, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, to Francisco Maui Noah, Arian Smith, Malachi Moore, Isaiah Davis type reviews. $3 a month for just the YouTube, where you get the full reviews, the full list of strengths and weaknesses, as well as some like emojis and banners and stuff like that in the YouTube. $5 a month for the entire site. Let's get back into the film. All right. A lot of these negative plays for you, a lot of them are underthrown balls or just poor accuracy from Klubnik. We get into a lot of the more of like the processing type stuff in the longer review. So make sure to check that out if you're super interested in Klubnik. Again, even if you want to just $3 a month for 1 month, watch all the reviews, bail after a month, fine. Completely okay with it. But pre-snap, no safety to the top here, identifies a one-on-one matchup vertically to the bottom, checks deep middle, safety sits. Okay, situation where receiver has a good yard or two horizontal leverage on this DB, and he's a half a yard in front, quarter of a yard in front. Lead him vertically here, and you're talking about most likely a walk-in type touchdown situation, if not just obviously a deep catch. And you can see how much the receiver has to slow down for that ball. His accuracy, specifically deep, goes from pinpoint or very, very good to really bad underthrows. And a lot of it is, and maybe I'll show you in a different angle if we have it in a further play, a lot of it is because sometimes he shortchanges his base where he doesn't really step into the throw as much as he should. And a lot of times he's raising up off of his toes and pushing more vertical instead of pushing through and stepping through the throw with him. So you're talking about a pretty severe underthrow from him here. And we're going to see it quite a few times where receivers really, really have to slow down to work back to his ball, specifically the deep ball. All right, similar type of concept here. Play it first through, and we'll see a ball that was dropped. Whether it be, again, clear out 1 to 2 or 1, 2, 3 here. Again, it depends a little bit more on which offense exactly, or depending on the reads, the coaching, whatever it may be. Some offenses I've seen actually like read this. Some, again, it's just a clear out to open up some space here. But nonetheless, he's on the move, right? Feels some pressure, sees that the corner route from the running back is open because he has that vertical spacing on the defender, puts the ball on him. Unfortunately, it is dropped. Okay, I don't have the other view of it, but it's another situation where, again, not the best player in 2025 undoubtedly, but he was not helped at all in certain situations by his teammates. All right, this is the one where he's forcing the ball and he's not just getting the ball to the check down. I believe this play is on first down. I could be wrong. I'll see it in a second here. Okay, so looks like it's second, or even maybe it's even third, and you can get the ball to the flat here and hopefully pushes forward for a few extra yards. But you have the two verticals. Typically, you're going to read the inside first, so 1 to 2 here. And Klubnik doesn't have the, he has a little bit of a muddy pocket. He steps up in the pocket, which I do like here, but it's a situation where he forces the ball. Okay. So play action, not going to take this route, right? Underneath, over the top, don't want to throw that. So he gets his eyes to the number 2. The problem is with the 2 here is he's forcing this ball. 1, maybe potentially step up and take off here for a first down, or check the ball down, right? Let me actually see. Okay, so I lied. So it's second down. So this even more pushes my point of it's second and let's call it 6 yards. Get the ball to the check down here and live the fight another down. Again, skips on the 1, understandably, with this picture. But the 2, you're talking about just throwing up a straight contested catch ball. And, when he throws this ball, if this DB tracks that ball better, you're talking about an easy pick. Now, fortunately for Klubnik, he tracks the ball terribly and jumps too early and doesn't get underneath of it. But this is just a straight force from Klubnik. Are you aiming at? This should be a pick all day. Again, fortunately, he tracks it terribly. But with Klubnik just in general, there is definitely times where he needs to just check the ball down. Okay, again, your 1 isn't open. Your 2 is not open. Where is my check down? My check down is wide open here. Throw the ball to him and let him push maybe a first down. Maybe it's 3rd and 2. Maybe it's 3rd and 3. It's better than incompletion or what should be an interception. Okay, last play, fitting that it's a underthrown, should be touchdown for a pick, because it's just a lot of the review was, again, the full review, a little bit more processing type stuff, definitely. A lot of this is just inaccuracy, underthrows, a little bit of the processing type stuff from him as well. Matchups to the bottom, wants it pre-snap, right? Nobody over the top, pushing vertical. Actually, I lied. I believe it's a post here and then a wheel route. Let's see real quick. Let me play this so I don't sound, overly stupid. Yeah, so we got the post. So I'm going to read that first. 1 to 2. 1, there's obviously going to be more traffic there, so gets to 2, fine, on the wheel route, and this is what we want. Perfect in terms of the matchup. Obviously we want him 25 yards wide open, but this is open enough. Have to hit that, have to lead him. Underthrows the ball, should be touchdown, walk in touchdown, or not really walking, because he's not walking and he's just going to catch the ball in the end zone if he leads him properly. But lead him properly, we're talking about an uncontested, easy touchdown for Klubnik. Underthrows the ball, it gets picked off. The other view didn't really show much here because it didn't pan over. It didn't pan over quick enough. And in the full review, I definitely go over how he gets a little bit toesy. He raises instead of driving through, and sometimes instead of stepping through the throw, he shortchanges himself. Only steps, a foot instead of about 2 or 3 feet. And underthrows balls. And again, this should be a walk-in touchdown, or an easy catch for a touchdown, I should say. And it's a ball that's underthrown by a mile for a interception. So that is it for the Klubnik, showing some of the good, showing some of the bad. Interesting player. I think in terms of athletically, he has a decently high ceiling, but a very low floor because of the processing, the inaccuracy, pre-snap read, post-snap read, etc. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next review.